Not all stories have a beginning or end. Sometimes creatures appear and linger on. Take, for example, the Yuki Onna, the Snow Woman. The Yuki Onna can be a dangerous spirit. Longing for comfort or company, they'll find passers-by like this poor soul. Oftentimes, the Yuki Onna will be with the visage of a child. She asks an incompletable request, to hug the child as she does. If one refuses, they are thrown into a freezing wilderness, left to die. Why would one refuse? It seems like a simple request, does it not? Well, if one decides to comply with the request, the child will grab hold tighter and tighter and slowly turn into a large pile of snow, suffocating their victim. The afterlife is often lonely. Many spirits wish to make more company. This man is simply one of many unfortunate victims. Not all encounters are deadly with the spirit. Some are simply strange. A few tales include some Yuki Onna that lived with husbands for many years, passing as a living woman. Some had children, but all eventually reveal themselves, either by accident or for particular reasons. One reason being that a man encountered a Yuki Onna and she let him live, under the pretense that he could never tell a living person. He eventually married that same spirit, thinking she were an ordinary woman. He eventually tells her of his experience with the Yuki Onna, after which she reveals herself to be the same spirit. Technically, he didn't tell a living person about the encounter, so she simply disappeared. In other versions, they had a child together, so she let him live to take care of their child. There are times when a Yuki Onna requests water. If given hot water, it will disappear. If given cold water, it will begin to grow in size. This request is asked in light snow. Since Yuki Onna are connected to the cold weather, perhaps growing larger in size affects the level of snow? It's not quite obvious the point of growing larger in size. However, keeping hot water ready and wait for the request sounds like a difficult task, especially if you are not prepared for the spirit. The Yuki Onna oftentimes seeks children for company. Whether it be for fun or perhaps to fulfill the need of lost motherhood, she finds children to be an easier target. Because of this, children of a certain age are told expressly to not go outside during a snowy night. Should a child ignore these warnings, they run the risk of becoming a yukinko, a snow child. These misfortuned children, I believe, are the same children that the Yuki Onna uses to trick people into dying under a snowy fate. There is a brief tale of one who survived the trick, however. A bushi, or a warrior, once faced the Yuki Onna and her request to embrace the ghost child. Whether he wandered into a blizzard or was paid to face the spirit by a nearby town is unknown. When he accepted the request, he knelt down and he held up a small blade in his mouth. Should the child embrace the bushi too hard, the blade would make contact with the child's head. Once he let go, the Yuki Onna was very pleased. As thanks, she gave the bushi a small fortune and told him that those who could withstand the embrace gain great strength. It's unknown how the bushi knew to keep the blade in his mouth, or that the spirit would fear a mortal instrument at all. After all, why would a spirit fear death? It seems as if some spirits still cling to their living habits and fears. Or perhaps spirits are vulnerable in some way to human weapons. In terms of how the bushi thought of this, maybe it was clever intellect. Maybe a townsperson saw someone else succumb to the trick and passed the knowledge on. It would make sense. These stories have to come from somewhere. The Yuki Onna serves as a powerful cautionary tale to prevent children and adults alike from wandering into frigid dark nights. Some even say these encounters are based from accounts of those who were lost in blizzards suffering under hypothermia. That could be their quote-unquote real-world applications. Whether these stories are fact or fiction means little in this infinite space of tales and anecdotes. In the Hall of Stories, all is true. I'm still not sure what all exactly the hall contains, but I will return soon to discover what other tales from mythology this place holds.